Hey everyone, I know it's been really. I just started a video and my computer is going nuts. Okay. I know it's been a while since I did one of these videos. I've been looking everywhere for places to talk about. I've been running out of places, so I've been going through research of everywhere. And if you hear an echo, we have a fireplace, well, fire pit thingy underneath a table, like right in the corner over there, which it has started echoing in this room. I don't know why, but I've been looking everywhere, not just in America anymore, but other places in the world of haunted areas, and some I have posted, like in the Dracula's castle. Um, but a few weird things have been happening. Even my mom noticed some of it. I can't say all of it is paranormal, but it's starting to get cold, and I hate the cold weather. Like maybe a few days is fine, and then I just want summer again. I'm like everyone else. I will complain on how hot it is, and then switch over and complain on how cold it is. I'm just like everyone else when it comes to that. Um. But with that being said, I did find a few more places in America. I know there's probably hundreds more. And some places I did find, I could barely find anything on the plates. And especially the house not far from the Conjuring house. Like, the Sloots family story was made into a movie. And the movie was flippin' amazing. I loved the Conjuring 4 movie, Last Rites. Mm. But, yeah, I also can't wait for Scream 7. I don't know where it got into horror movies, but let's continue. And whenever you see my videos pop up, just click if you want to. Anyway, Lick Creek, which is the actual weird name for the place I found, was an African American settlement in Orange County, Indiana, established with the help of North Carolina white Quakers. Freeborn, freeborn black settlers purchased an ancient lot and began using their skills in architecture to support themselves and expand the settlement. The black settlers and their white neighbors in Lake Creek interacted frequently, with the settlement becoming deteriorated by its decline. The size of the settlement was settlement peak. Why is it echoing? I probably in a soda can. That's weird. Hmm. Settlement peak is 1,557 acres, 630, can't read, in 8 hectares in 1855, around 260 people in 1860. Surviving written records show settlers thriving through rural community until around the time records show settlers around the time of the American Civil War. By the 1870s, the settlement drastically decreased in size until the last black resident left in 1902. The land made up of settlement had been part of the Hoosier National Forest since 1935. Visitors to the forest can access the Robert and Thomas family cemetery, the last standing evidence of the settlement, via at the Lick Creek Trail. I wonder how somebody can say that 5 times fast. I barely have a hard time saying it once. Whoa. The first black settler in the area was by white Quaker settlers supporting the black migration to Indiana. Increasing restrictions to the right of the free blacks in North Carolina drove many to go north to Quakers under a trustee, trusteeship system where they would gain freedom. Quaker Jonathan Lindley brought 11 black families from North Carolina into the area in 1811. He was the 1920s census record 96 black settlers in the area. One of these settlers was Elijah. If I pronounce any of these names wrong, I apologize in advance. I should have signed up before the beginning of this video. Elijah Roberts, a free black man from Tasman County, Crete. The black land ownership in Lick Creek began on May 21st, 1831. Would that be in 200 years and a day after my birthday? I don't know. I'm not good at math. When Freedom Black man Matthew Thomas bought 80 acres and 32 acres of land northeast of Hammersburg, Matthew Thomas learned to farm during his apprenticeship in Zachariah Lindley, son of Jonathan Lindley, from age 12 to age 21 in 1832. Fellow black settler David Dunn purchased 40 acres of nearby land. The same year, Thomas and Dunn joined their land with Benjamin Roberts, Peter Lindley, and Eliza Roberts to form Lick Creek Settlement. When the three purchased 40 acres of U.S. government patented, can't talk. Landed east of the hills of South Chambersburg. I wonder why my camera keeps focusing right here. That's kind of creepy. Well, weird things have been happening lately. Maybe it's now messing with the computer. I mean, come on, guys. God, I look like I'm a crazy person. I even had this thought to the spirits earlier that stop messing with my internet. Like, I think it was on Thursday, because I was getting really pissed off, and everything was fine outside weather-wise, and I'm like, anyway. The creek became the same name. The strategic placement of Eliza Roberts' land in particular is believed to by excuse me, that's embarrassing. My Hoosier National Forest Heritage Program manager, Angie Doyle. I had a t-shirt with the last name Doyle. I wonder if they're related. To have been a part of the effort to encourage people of color to settle there. By 1840, African Americans owned 780 acres in Orange County. Auction records show that the black settlers were able to live in a reasonably comfortable existence as farmers. Her listed professions of settlers in the 1850s census included saddlery, shoemaking, heading, and wagon making. The settlement proximity to then newly paved finishing streets, which offered access to train travelers flowing to and from Louisville and Paloy. The Act settlers had the opportunity, had the cooperative relationship with many of the white neighbors who would act as a witness of good character for legal documents, such as Indians, Native, African American register. When black residents of Indiana were required to document themselves in an Indian second state, Constitution required existing black and mulatto residents to register their counties. Now, when I did research, I just want to let everyone know that these are the words I found during the research, and I really hope it was probably such a car light. And I really hope I'm not offending anyone with the words I found during my research. So, again, if I offend anyone, which I hope I'm not, I apologize. And in advanced videos in the future. Black and white residents of the interacted and own land adjacent to perils, kinship, and inter-community marriage played a role in the composition of the community. The frequent marriage of license issued for people of color in Orange County was around 1 to 3 per year. The peak years of for marriage license was during the 1850s and the 1860s, with 17 and 16 applications were made in two decades, respectively. In September of 1862, 7 black farmers suddenly sold their land of them and a noble finance lots with 559 acres, total acres being sold in the month of September. The cost of the rapid land disposal is unclear. African American genealogists Hoy D. Robinson suggested on the considerable finance and rapid land disposal indicates jurors on the black landowners. Many theories exist of the decline of population around the time, including the draft for the Civil War, creating mounting pressures on black population and with an able-bodied men being pulled from their homestead. Archaeologist Ryan Campbell and historian Nicole Etchison agree that some may have moved to escape the draft. Other settlers may have moved due to the increasing racist violence by the local Southern sympathizer group and the Copperheads. The black population continued to dwindle throughout the late 1800s. Racial tension and the draw for a better education and employment opinions in cities were some of the factors that reduced black ownership in Orange County. Land ownership. I am so sorry. Oh my god. Land ownership. William Thomas sold his land in 1902. The Robert site on the longest occupied area settlement was the first identified in 1991 by Hoosier's National Forest Ranger Rococo Malaya. The site consists of land formerly owned by the family of Eliza Roberts with 280 acres, then being owned by Roberts and his son-in-law at the peak of the occupation. The property would remain in the Roberts family until the death of Eliza's wife, Nancy Roberts, in 1876. In the year 2000, evacuation headed by principal investigators Robert G. McLowan and William R. Wilker was undertaken to determine the remaining contents of the site. The archaeologist's explanation of the Robert site was divided into a study of three structures, area founded on the property landed A, B, and C. Flagstone located between the buildings suggest the existence of the ephemeral structures that have been on the property at some point. Area contained an outbuilding of unknown use, property inventory taken after Eliza's Roberts' death in 1866. Suggests that it may have been a shed used to store of hay and oats. The lack of centenary memorial and glass debris combination torch tomb found in the area also supports it serving as a barn or animal coop. Other archaeological related entries on the primate inventory included 12 sheep, 14 cattle, 3 horses, 3 hogs, and 9 sheep. Never heard of that animal. Yeah. Corpse down a property where wheat, corn, rye, oats, hay, straw, and tobacco. The Robert family lived roughly 16.5 feet, 20 feet log cabin with the area B originally sitting on a limestone sandstone foundation. In fact, artifacts from the destruction suggested the type of ports existing at one point. Now, if I remember throughout my paranormal research from many videos and ghost hunting and watching ghost hunting videos and stuff like that, I read that limestones can be a conduit or not a conduit, a energy helper for the spirits to communicate or interact. And a lot of the time, it's been proven right. So, yeah. A highly designated artifacts include personal items such as a pewter ring, buttons, and fragments of ceramic sets were found in the area. Faunal remains of squirrels, domestic pigs, and chickens were unearthed in the proximity of a rusty butcher knife. It's unclear of the high density of artifacts from Area B were due to items lost in the cracks or ports of it if they were initially discarded. Another feature of the cabin was a chimney constructed out of limestone and sandstone. The cabin stood through Nancy Roberts' passing and the series of white landowners until it burned at some point before 1935. Area C is an irreducible aerosol area likely served as a dump site for the site's later inhabitants. Investigations revealed that the dump containing a wide variety of artifacts, including buttons, bottles, metal fragments, and leather pieces. Studies of the soil contain so it may have once been a livestock area like a hog hollow. A variety of culture that may have been that were found at the site. With a significant amount of consisting of items such as window glass and nails, a total of 2,905 nails were found on site, with the majority being cut nails and the remainder being wire nails. Most of the nails found around the cabin area are thought to have been used to act as setting in place. Numerous findings from the glass fragments include 1,612 ceramic trays discarded on site with compromised at these vessels, stoneware, refined earthenware, and porcelain. Refined earthenware vessels made of materials such as pearlware, whiteware, and ironware were the most numerous. Based on vessel count in 1846, with the average year of origin ceramics at the site, the large amount appeared to be the window glass recovered from structure B, when contained 86 of all found glass fragments, personal items at the site, and the family that lived well off on the Rutland terrain. Some items include 93 buttons, 26 fragments of leather, a single ring, and one lens from a pair of glasses. Items listed on the prominent record of such as a coffee mill and blue deckard whiteware on the prominent whiteware signify middle class taste consistent with the time period. The Robert and Thomas Family Cemetery, also known as the Little Africa Cemetery, is a cemetery located on the former settlement that was used between 1965 and 1865 and 1891. It is a southeast township 1.5 miles of Chambersburg. Burials within the limited members of the Robert and Thomas families suggested it was a private cemetery. The cemetery is the only standing remains of the settlement today. In 1970, a scoutmaster, Harold Smith, led Boy Scout Troop 85 in restoration effort of the grounds. The project entitled Clearing of Overgrowth and the copying of gravestone inscriptions. And people used to do that. They would probably family owners, they would read a piece of paper and pencil, and they would place the piece of paper on the tombstone and just scribble on the piece of paper with the pencil, and the inscription of the tombstone would appear. And I've seen people do that on YouTube videos, TV shows, and it's kind of cool. Hopefully they're not being disrespectful while they do it. Wooden crosses on permanently unmarked graves, a fenced mountain, and two veterans, Ismail Robert Sir and Simon Lucas, thought to be buried in the cemetery, were also erected. The Veterans Memorial was removed following the revelation of the Revolutionary War. The veteran Ismail Robert Sir never came to Indiana, and the Simon locusts were incorrectly identified as being a part of the Confederate State Army. The wooden crosses have also been removed. The next major restoration would not occur until December 2024. So last year. Led by the Lick Creek settler descendants, a team of settler descendants and volunteer together to restore grave cemeteries by spraying bosile to kill off overgrowth. Lick Creek Cemetery in Dawson Springs is notorious for eerie atmosphere and unexplained phenomena. Over the years, visitors have reported seeing glowing eyes staring from the darkness, ghostly figures appearing and vanishing, and objects inexplicably shifting places. Unfortunately, this was all I was able to find, and with my first video back after a few months, or maybe a year, I don't know, I wanted a short one, but it's turning out to almost be an hour. I probably should have done a longer one at that point, but, with the cemetery there, if I see glowing eyes, no. I've seen too many horror movies and too many paranormal shows that when you see glowing eyes, it's time to get out. I was watching, These Woods Are Haunted, and they saw glowing eyes that turned out to be a hellhound, and in another episode, a werewolf, and I'm like, I'm out. No, I am not messing with no werewolf or hellhound. No. But hopefully that does not happen. And I don't know if we even have any. I know we have skinwalkers. And probably Wendigos. And then we have the Goatman somewhere. We have a Goatman's bridge that's not there anymore. Britain government putting houses on top of it. But, yeah, I'd really like to go to where it would have been. I think there might be one not far from here. And my friend said when we were in the woods the other day, meaning in that summer, he said that bridge in the woods, it's just a little creek bridge, was a crybaby bridge, like half of the bridges in America in the world. And I looked at her like, this tiny little thing, and she goes, the water wasn't this low when the bridge was first made. And I know, it's not like the Goatman's Bridge in Texas, how is it a crybaby bridge? But anyway, thank you guys for watching my channel and videos. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I am Haunted Girl, and this is my channel. And until next time, pleasant dreams. I will speak to you later.